Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. I have had a very long week, and I am thoroughly excited about the weekend ahead. Even though it was a short week, I'm gonna be honest with you, it was like 6 days of work collapsed into 4 days of work. That is essentially how I have felt over the course of this week. And I am very glad that the weekend is here. And my hope is that it will be an enjoyable weekend. There is a price to be paid whenever there's a holiday that results in an extended weekend. There is a heavy toll to pay. And I feel like I have paid it in spades today. Or this week, I should say. So I'm looking forward to the weekend, man. I decided because we were, doing these summer hours at work that I would stop a little early and maybe jump on here and chit chat with you guys, because there are some things that are in the news right now that kind of captured my attention. There's some stuff related to CBCS, and there's also some Rob Liefeld news. And so we are going to talk about both of those things, as well as whatever else may come up, because I honestly don't know where the conversation is going to take us, because you guys are going to help guide it. And so we will talk about whatever might be top of mind. This is actually technically my second live stream of the day, if you will. I actually did an early morning Instagram chat with some folks. I was doing cardio this morning and had a little chat with folks on the Instagram machine. So this is technically my second stream of the day, and we may do a third. We may get frisky and do a third. So let me say hello to some comic book soldiers that have joined me here in the room. Chris is in here. My man Nick is here. How you doing? Tina is in the house. Tina, it is good to see you. Quest Dog is in here. Scrolling down through the names. Riviera is in here. Who else? Rivera. Sorry about that. Rivera is in here. The Tiger is in here. As doors, Tiger. I think that is the correct pronunciation. As doors. That's as good as it's gonna get. It is good to see you, my friend. Welcome, Tiger. Let me scroll down through the names. You guys were going back and forth. Ephraim is in here. How you doing? Max is in here. Scrolling down. Matthew is in the house. How you doing? Max is also here. It is good to see you guys. And again, happy Friday to every single one of you. I hope that you guys all had a better week than I did. But I do hope that we both have a fantastic weekend. So as a man, no, I think I got it right. I think that I got it right. There was a letter here with a phonetic pronunciation of that name, and I thought that I got it right, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I know it sounds like doors, but is it doors? So it's not doors, Tiger, right? I'm gonna just keep calling you Tiger if that's okay. That's okay, because that might be the best thing. Hydra's in here, Raider is in here, DD is in the house. It is good to see you guys. So as I mentioned at the top, man, there are two things that we are probably going to dig into just a little bit here, and then we'll kind of segue into whatever else may actually come up as people continue to try to help me with the pronunciation of names. The struggle is real, and I am just going to move on, because some causes cannot be helped. I'm gonna just put it out there to you right now. All right, so the first thing that kind of caught my attention was that Rob Liefeld was talking about Simmons. He was talking about Mr. Simmons. And unfortunately, it wasn't Reggie Simmons. Unfortunately, it wasn't me. It was Bill Simmons. But this was just released a little while ago. Rob Liefeld is going to do his own podcast with an homage to Bill Simmons. And the logo that Rob actually uses is where that homage actually takes place. But Rob is never short. He's never short on opinions and perspective, which makes him entertaining for people. So I think that that's definitely a good thing. But he is going to be, he's going to have his own podcast, man. And supposedly this thing is available everywhere podcasts are available. So this is going to be called Robservations with Rob Liefeld. Robservations with Rob Liefeld. And so it actually launched earlier this week. I don't know how many episodes he has or how often this thing is going to be released. But we do know that Rob has a lot to say. And you can see here on the right hand side, this is his logo right here. If I make it bigger, you guys won't really be able to see it. But it is available, as I mentioned, on various platforms, including iTunes and Spotify, probably among several others. So it is definitely going to be interesting. Again, I think that Rob is one of those characters, man, that he enjoys his ability to speak his mind, and he is not afraid to hurt someone's feelings, or he's not interested in necessarily being perfect, but he's going to share his opinions. He's going to share his thoughts, and he definitely has an interesting point of view. And there are a lot of people that absolutely love some Rob Liefeld. So I have no doubt that his podcast is going to do incredibly well. So I'm sure that there'll be lots of tweets, lots of Instagram posts and things like that as he continues to kind of roll this thing out and talk more about it. So the no feet. Oh, backseat driver. Backseat driver, don't get thumbs down on my video, brother, because I think that is incredibly funny. I'm going to be honest with you. That is incredibly funny. Shout out to backseat driver. Clay says, I hope he gets a YouTube channel. I don't know why he's not on YouTube. I'm going to be honest with you. This is my opinion. This is my opinion that there are not a whole lot of content creators that are social media savvy. I think that Todd McFarlane does a little bit. I think that Rob does a little bit when it comes to like Instagram. And then also Twitter. I think Jim Lee does pretty well. He does a couple of different platforms and a lot of streams where he is, drawing and sketching and engaging with people and stuff. And I think that's cool. But there's a lot of them. I don't know. My general feeling is that they don't do a whole lot. Now, what's interesting is that I saw a blurb in somewhere on social media, might have been on YouTube, about, I think it was Dr. Dre, who made a comment around how social media has essentially demystified musicians. And I think his thinking is that there is some magic in the mystery of a creator. There is some magic in not living one's life in public, which I guess maybe in his mind keeps the mystery hidden, and it keeps people intrigued for a longer period of time versus using social media to kind of engage people. And I think he thinks that kind of devalues the content creator or in this case, the musician. And I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know, but I thought that was interesting. And I may actually go back and read that article or watch that video. But it was an interesting perspective, because if you think about it, Dr. Dre, incredibly creative guy. There is very little that is actually known about Dr. Dre. I mean, really, there is very little that is really, really known about this guy, despite the movies and the other things that are out there. You don't necessarily see him engaging people on social media. And I don't know whether that's good or bad. And so maybe that's why some of these content creators opt to not be in the public domain as much. Maybe that's why, I don't know, Rob doesn't have YouTube. Who knows? But it's definitely going to be interesting. I will tell you that. Let me see what you guys are talking about. He'd have to have multiple accounts with the way he is. Liefeld would get his YouTube account banned multiple times. You're probably right about that. You are probably right about that. He does. I'm telling you, he will block people in a heartbeat on Twitter. From what I hear, a couple of people that are subscribers of this channel have actually been blocked by Rob. And so, I don't know, man. What is this? No, I wish, man. That if only that were true. If only that were true. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but Liefeld will never hurt me. Were you banned? Just teasing. All right, scrolling down, behind the music demystify. Right. That's what I'm saying, man. I think that there's something there. I think that maybe there's something there in his mind. Honestly, I think Liefeld really does mean well. I don't think he intentionally is rude or mean or anything. I think he just has a very fragile ego, but I've never met the dude. Yeah, I've never met him either, man. But the challenge is this, man, is that for some people, your perception actually becomes the reality of who that person is. You know what I'm saying? And he might be the nicest guy ever, but the perception of him is not necessarily a good one, by and large, right? And that's not to say that it's right or wrong. It's not to say that he's a bad person or a good person. It's just an observation. There are people that could make assumptions about how I am or who I am as a result of me doing this, right? And some of those perceptions would be right or wrong. Somebody actually pointed out to me that what was it? I'm trying to remember the details. There was something that came up. And I think the person kind of mentioned that in some of the videos where I talked about I prefer to pay cash for things, that I was being, I can't remember what they said, condescending or something like that. But it wasn't, they didn't have a favorable takeaway from me talking about the fact that I prefer to pay cash for things. But as a result of a follow-up video that I did where I kind of explained the rationale for why I prefer cash, right? That they were then like, oh, I actually get where you're coming from now. You know what I'm saying? And so I actually thanked the person for a couple of things. For one, for being honest, because I appreciate that. For two, not giving up on me when they thought that I was not a good person, and for continuing to listen and engage. And then also for realizing that I wasn't being condescending or whatever the verb was or the adjective was before, but I had an actual rationale for it. And maybe it was because before I didn't fully explain myself, and so there was always this balance between, the perception of someone and the reality of someone. And ideally you want those two things to be the same, good or bad. Ideally you want those two things to be the same, but it depends. It depends on the platform and the opportunity. Scrolling down through some of the comments. Let me see. Rob's problem is that he lets his emotions get the best of him. Seems like yeah. But part of it, I'm gonna be honest, bro. X, I'm gonna be honest with you. It is sometimes easy to do. It is sometimes easy. Sometimes I have to walk away from my phone and I have to not read certain comments, or I'll read them and I'll respond and then I'll delete it because it's not a positive thing. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when you feel attacked, and you get attacked a lot, then, and I'm not saying me, I'm just saying just in general, that when you feel like you're getting attacked, everything looks like an attack after a while, even when it's not. Jokes become an attack when the person that was saying it was simply a joke, but they didn't know that you were already sensitive to that situation. You know what I'm saying? But you view it because of all the baggage that you're carrying as an attack when that person was just joking around. And so it's tough. It's tough because so much of what we do, and I have no clue what it's like to be Rob Liefeld, no clue what it's like to have that level of popularity, right? But I'm speaking for myself, that there is so much that you put into your content and you put out there, and you see the mistakes and you know that you made the mistakes, and you can think about the mistakes without even going back to watch the videos because you messed up, right? And then to have people point that out to you, it's hard. It's hard to hear it, not just once, not just twice, but like 50 times. You know what I'm saying? So by the 50th person, you're like, I'm tired. I'm tired of it all, and it's tough. Some days as a content creator can be tough, but I will tell you, there are more good days than there are bad days. And sometimes walking away from one's computer or a message or one's cell phone is the best thing that you can do. And I don't always get it right. And I don't think Rob does either, So y'all forgot about Dre. Bro, you cannot forget about Dre. I heard Detox is coming out at some point. Rob Liefeld was my favorite 90s artist, but lately I love to traumatize my girlfriend with his artwork. Scrolling down, Bayou Boy Entertainment is up in here, the winner of our recent giveaway. Shout out to you, brother. There we go. I think you guys are having a conversation there. Continuing to scroll down, guy wears his emotions on his sleeve. At the very least, he's consistent and makes me feel that he's true to himself. There you go. There you go. And that again, that if you can look beyond the perceptions, there is a truth there. And he is very authentic to self, right? Right or wrong, good or bad, He is true to himself and he is consistent. And I think that that also is important, right? Because sometimes also the inconsistency of it is what also throws you off, right? If you, I'm going to just speak out of turn here. If you met John Byrne, you kind of sort of know what to expect from John Byrne, right? If you meet Jim Lee, you kind of know what to expect because they have been consistent through time. Todd McFarlane, I've heard, is the nicest guy ever, right? Consistent over time. Rob Liefeld, better or worse, consistent over time. So let me see what else you guys are talking about. Scrolling. See what else you guys are talking about. Tina, thank you very much. I'm gonna tell you, Tina, there are some days where I'm just like, then I get a message and I'm like, hey. I was like, hey, that's a good message. Thank you for that one. Who's floppy? Treat everyone like today is their birthday. That's hard. The Spanish. Hold on, let me see. Let me see. What is this? There's a comment here. Defender's best defense, neighbor number one, Marvel's comic 2018. A lot of first appearances. Thank you for the scoop on that one. Thank you for that. Scrolling down through the comments here. I know I'm missing a lot of comments here. Detox. Don't get me started. Don't get me started on that missing music right there. What are you guys talking about? What is this? Rob was the same in the 90s and the 2000s. Man, I'm telling you, he is the same. All right. So again, we gave a little bit of download here that Rob Liefeld is going to be launching his own podcast. I should probably say has launched his own podcast earlier this week. It is called Robservations with Rob Liefeld. It is available on various podcasting platforms. I have no clue what Rob is going to be talking about, but I will tell you that it will probably be pretty darn interesting. And he writes here, most know that I love to talk comic books and its rich and illustrious history, especially how it's impacting the culture right now. I love to have you give it a listen, is what he wrote as part of a Facebook post for his podcast. What does this say? My wife says you should have a shirt right, man. You know what's funny is that I didn't realize that I actually said that, Flash fan, until probably a couple of months ago. I'd never really paid attention to it until it became the topic of a live stream where people were like, yeah, you do know that you just keep saying scrolling. And again, these are I guess Reggie-isms that creep up, man, that you don't pay attention to until someone says it. Like I use the word robust a lot. And also, actually, those are a couple of my default words that I think has become a drinking game for some people as well. So we have been talking over the last couple of weeks a lot about what is happening over at CGC. CGC has been dropping bomb after bomb after bomb with various in-house signings that they are doing. And people are like, and for a moment there, it was a back and forth between CGC and CBCS. And then all of a sudden, CBCS kind of went silent and CGC just kept dropping bombs, new things. And so earlier today, there was an announcement that actually came out from CBCS around some new mail-in signings that they are going to be doing. And I will tell you, I did not go back and compare the old list to the new list. So I'm not sure which of these are new. So I'm honestly thinking that most of these are going to be new, but they have a nice little lineup here of some pretty talented artists, both at DC and I think also at Marvel. I mean, that Francisco Mantina, that is, man, and Perillo, two just really talented guys right there. And you can see the prices there. Make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, you can see that. The pricing information here is relatively low. We're looking at somewhere between $25 and $35 for the signing. And just remember that these are not all the fees. These are fees just for the signatures, right? That's important to remember because you might look at these and be like, well, man, Frank Miller and Chris Claremont and all these other guys are charging $70, et cetera, et cetera. This is not an apple to an apple comparison. This is an apple to an orange, right? This is, I believe, a mail-in signing program that is sponsored by a facilitator. And so the amount that you are seeing here is for the signing fee only. It is not for the grading or other services that you might need. When you go to CGC, what you'll be seeing is a number that reflects grading plus the fees, right? Plus the signing fee. So that's just one important distinction to make here. But you can see here, Cody James Lockwood is the facilitator out of Jackson, Michigan, that's actually going to be overseeing this. And there are a lot of details that you will definitely want to take a look at. Like, they are only signing floppies. They're not doing anything other than floppies. So no hard covers, no trades or oversized things. And they're like, if you send it, it will be returned to you at your own expense. The deadline is July 17th. And you can see, like I said, there's a lot of details here around how to prep your book, the do's and don'ts, and all that good stuff. So you definitely want to take a look at this. I'm guessing it is on the CBCS website. I received an email about this about 5 hours ago. So it's not necessarily new news, but my hope is that it is available to you on the CBCS website, so you guys can actually check that out. Scrolling down, I sent my books in for CGC, but don't mind buying CBCS in the wild. Yeah, people have actually asked me about that. I tend to buy, honestly, mostly CGC books, just because that is the overwhelming number of books that I actually see happens to be CGC. But I have nothing against CBCS. I have nothing against them. I honestly look at the two as being the same, to be honest with you, in terms of pricing. And I know that, CGC reportedly can go for 5 to 10% more or something like that. But, I don't know. Part of it is personal preference. So everyone has an opinion, and none of them are wrong. Scrolling to, what if I send you a high value book to CGC to be signed? Is it still only $70? That's a great question. And I think the answer is yes. I mean, I haven't seen anything in any of the releases that they put out there that they make adjustments because the value of that book is extremely high, right? And then the question would be, what is a high value book, right? Everyone has a different interpretation of that, but I think that that's a wonderful question. From what I've seen, there are flat costs associated with these signing opportunities, but if you want that level of detail, I would definitely encourage you to reach out to CGC submissions at cgccomics.com to ask that question, just to be clear. So there you go. So he says it does get adjusted. There we go. Very good. I'm glad you told me. Could have gotten that wrong. Scrolling down. Let me see. Scrolling down. Here we go. I like both CGC and CBCS. Never dealt with others. Same here. I mean, I technically have never even sent the book to CBCS either. I've only used CGC. I'm a big fan of, like, and I think you guys are not going to be surprised about this. I'm a big fan of, I make the decision and then I do that thing. And then I don't deviate from that thing without a very, very good reason why I'm deviating. And up until this point, I've had no reason to deviate from that. But I gave a tremendous amount of consideration between CGC and CBCS before I made the decision. And I was inaccurate in my statement. I also have experience sending books to EGS. I forgot about that. But I was talking about the big three: CGC, CBCS, PGX. I have only experience with one of those big three. So I just want to correct myself on that one. Scrolling down, man, here's the thing. When is that new case coming out? Let me see if I can find there was another comment. So I actually reached out to CBCS when they made some of their original announcements for some of the in-house signings. I sent them a message and asked clarifying questions. And one of the questions that I asked was whether the books that were getting signed by the artist would be coming back in their new case. The response that I received was that they could not guarantee that those books would be in the new case. I haven't seen or heard anything about the new case. So I really don't know about that. So it'll be interesting. Timothy is saying the new case is dope. I haven't seen it. At all. Al is basically saying the new case is fire. Lee, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. There we go. Backseat driver's trying to get his hands on it. Did they, I'm guessing that they changed the label. Did they change the label as well? Let me see. Scrolling. The new case is dope. Couple of people saying that. That's good. That's good because that's one of the main complaints that people had about CBCS was the quality of the case and also the label that was applied. So hopefully they revised both of those things. Mike Rogers, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Van, is it the? Are you talking about the new label or the old label? Because I'm still trying to get clarification on that one. Yeah, that's a good question. There we go. Jay Boxer. Jay Boxer, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Joe, how you doing? Got to leave. Catch the rest on replay. It's all good, my friend. See you soon. Emerald Knight says the new case has the same clarity as the CGC, the same label. Okay. All right, so they made some improvement, right? I guess. What is this? Reggie, if you get your hands on a new CBCS case, if you started saying friend of the channel, CBS will wait a minute, hold on. Get your hand on it. Started saying friend of the channel, CBS when you mention them. I would like to get my hands on there, to be honest with you. Their current label is lacking, in my opinion. I would like to get my hands on that, to be honest with you. And the only way I would ever do an actual review of it, to be honest with you, is if I actually got it before other people. Not a huge fan of repeating what other people have done, which is why I've never done a video basically comparing the various grading services that are out there, because there's so many people that have done that, so I don't think that I'm adding much to the conversation just versus rehashing and revisiting things that have already been decided by other people. So there's things you guys want to talk about, throw it up in all caps, man. Let's have a little bit of a conversation here about whatever might be top of mind for you guys. So some folks have been asking me what I drink. This is iced coffee. I made a little iced coffee there. One of the great things I'll tell you is the place that I used to buy coffee from for more than 10 years burned down. They burned the place burned down, and it burned down the week that my order was supposed to be going out. And so for a little over a month, I drank a lot of brown water. Drank a lot of brown water, trying to find some coffee that I could enjoy. And thankfully, somehow or another, the company that I've been buying from was able to get their operation back up and running and was able to ship out coffee. And so the last 2 weeks or so have been fantastic. Fantastic cups of coffee every single day. I am so thankful that they were able to get their operation back up and running, man, because brown water is never a good thing. CBCS is Newton ring resistant, so no Newton rings. Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, that's one of the major complaints. Well, not major, but that is one of the complaints of CGC is the Newton ring. So that's cool that they help with that. Scrolling down through some of the comments here, is the new CBCS case on par with CGC? I think he's asking that of someone here. Scrolling down through the comments here, I heard the new CBCS case have addressed the dreaded Newton rings. Scrolling down through the comments here, let me go over to CBCS's website. Let's see if they have something up about this. CBCS Comics. See if they have anything up about their new case. So the first thing I see on their homepage is their population report, which is something that we've spoken about. The in-house signing. Here, let me share my screen with you guys. Share my screen real quick with you so you guys can see exactly what I am looking at. So hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah, you can see that. All right. So certification, turnaround time, 5 weeks for grading, which is really good. Have your comics been pressed? Verify signature program, online scheduling. That guy looks super happy right there. I don't see anything about the new case. Let's see if we can find some news on this thing. News and events. Yeah, all this stuff's been canceled, bro. All this stuff right here, bro, that's all been canceled. Is there nothing? On-site grading, population report. There's nothing. I would assume that they would have some press release. There's the news. I wonder if that's the same thing. Click that down in the footer. And that doesn't go anywhere. Cool. Let's see if we can find a grading, on-site pricing, membership, raw grading, pricing, signature programs, pressing, card grading. We don't want that. Let's see if we can find it. Featured comics. I don't see it anywhere. It's kind of grades. No, that's not it. You would think that they would make a little bit of a splash. It's pricing information, grading notes. It's probably not that. That page isn't loading. Oh, that's where you can search for it. Okay. Well, that's a bust. That's a little bit of a bust. Free grading notes, our mission. Just click. Nope, that doesn't work. Okay, well, I guess we're not going to find that. But it would have been nice to been able to look at that and kind of see it. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Google. Google's my friend. Let me see if I can Google it. Let's see if we can do this. Google. New CBCS case. How to properly crack out a graded CBCS. What is this? Let me see. High quality acrylic. No, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing anything. New CBCS case. Let's try slab. A little bit of a derogatory term. Oh, that's funny. Let me show you guys this screen real quick. This is legit, just straight legit searching. That handsome guy right there in the middle of the screen. Search for new CBCS slab and look right there, that handsome devil right there. Regie collects back from June 29th, 2018. How about that? Here we go. So this is my slabcomics.com new grading company. CBCS slabs hits the market. So let's click on that. And let's see. That's old. Yeah, that's nothing. That's nothing. Slabs from. That's crazy. There's nothing. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything new other than that handsome devil in the middle of the screen. All right, so let me see what you guys are talking about. Scrolling up. If I could only have one FF48 or Wolverine 181, I'm guessing it's Hulk 181, I would take FF48. That's actually, I really like Fantastic Four 48, so I would take that one. I would take that. I think Hulk 181 is a good book, but I like FF, especially if we're talking about high grade. If I could trade my Hulk 181 at its current grade for the equivalent of a Fantastic Four 48, I take that deal all day long. All day long, I take that. Let me see what else you guys are talking about. I don't think I can cut and paste from there. No, I can't cut and paste from there. Backseat. Thank you, brother. I don't go to forums. Don't go to forums. What is this? Hello, Reggie in chat. Checking in from Chicago. Happy Friday. Jeff, we see you, brother. It's good to see you. Hit the forum. Hit the link. It's part of the forum. Any news on EGS? I'm not sure what you mean. Any news? What news are you talking about, brother? You have to give me a little bit more about that. A little bit more. What do you mean? Scrolling through. There we go. So H Factor says I just got 10 slabs about 2 weeks ago and it looked the same as the old slab. So what is this? This is funny. Yeah, stay tuned for the video, bro. Stay tuned for the video. Scrolling through the comments here. All right, I went through all those. Yeah, if you guys can, I don't know if I'll be able to click on it. Let me see. Somebody sent me a message here. Are there any comic books you are currently hunting for? I guess that was addressed to me. Not really. I'm looking for some things, but mostly in my own collection, to be honest with you. So let's click on this link. Let's see what this says. Shout out to Backseat Driver, man. That dude is on it right there. All right, so let's see if there's any details. It says new slabs unveiled at CBCS Expo. I don't have a date for that, so I'm not quite sure. The comment is they don't look significantly different from the front. No new labels, I believe. This was 4 months ago, so I guess I'm assuming the books are mock-up to show the slab and not really graded since there is no seam. Oh wow, somebody's digging deep on that one. Yeah, I'm still not seeing it. Let me scroll down to the bottom. What is this? Yeah, this information looks like it's all from like 4 months ago. As I'm looking at the date stamps in here. Yeah, that's all old stuff. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? It's all good though. It's all good. Again, if you guys have things you want to chat about, throw it up in all caps. We'll try to dig into some of this stuff. But what is this? Got to figure out what you got in the 100K before knowing what you need to hunt for. No, I mean, the good thing is that some of the boxes are actually labeled, which is kind of nice. Some of them are labeled, but the labels aren't always accurate, as you would imagine, as tops sometimes get switched from box to box. And sometimes as a collection grows, sometimes books get shifted from one box to another. So labels don't always match up. But what I will tell you is right now I have four, I don't know, probably, I think the last count was about 10 short boxes full of like just really cool books, about 10 short boxes of really cool books. And then I have here at the house right now, I think I have about 12 to 15 long boxes that I've brought here from storage. And you guys will see a video coming up where I talk a little bit more about how I kind of rotate things around a little bit. So, what is this? Reggie, any luck on getting a hold of a CGC ASM 110 for your future giveaway? It's only fitting for the Giving Gang. No, I actually haven't made any progress. I did all my purchases for the upcoming Go Collect giveaways. I did all of my purchases, and there were a couple of things I kind of committed to. One of them was ASM 110 to try to look for one. Did not spot one. The other was an image book, which I was able to secure. And so I will not tell you what that book is. But I was able to at least tick one of the commitments off, and I hope to be able to get to the other at some point soon. So I had no idea the work they blend together, brother. What is this? How many of those long boxes were X-Men? Funny. There's actually right now I have at last count 3 boxes of ASM and probably 4 or so boxes of X-Men that I found, but of all ages, right? For both of those titles, of all ages that I've been able to find thus far. So, any key issues of ASM in the new collection? Aren't all ASM keys? Yeah, I think they are. And then if you watch the videos, they're in the videos. I actually show those books, so you may want to check out the videos and take a look at those because some of the details are actually in there. So scrolling through the comments here, let's talk about something other than my collection. Let's talk about something other than that to keep it interesting and fun for everybody that is here. Scrolling through some of the comments, I'm actually scrolling up to see if there's some other things that I may have missed. It's funny that the shirt shows you. Yeah. I think it's awesome, man. I think it's awesome that we actually found myself dirty grading. Scrolling through the comments here, it's hopefully shows that I'm doing something right, man, with my SEO game and all that other stuff, man. Hopefully that shows a little something that I'm on top of it. All right, so nothing there so far. But again, if you guys have some things you want to talk about, anything other than my collection, scrolling down through some of the comments here. Man, you know what, brother, that is crazy right there. The prices on the Miles Morales stuff is really, really crazy. But I think the thing is that people do believe that character is actually going to be here for the long term. And I have mixed feelings about it. I have mixed feelings, and I have mixed feelings because I don't own one of those books. Don't own a single one, but I want it. But I will not buy it for the prices that they are going for right now, so I'll have to wait. But I think it's cool, man. I mean, if you think about it, right? People are always saying that there's not a whole lot of good new creators that are creations that are being created right now, and I think Miles Morales is interesting. I've watched the live action cartoon, whatever that thing is called. I've watched it. I enjoyed it, and I've read some of the comic books. And I'm actually looking at Miles Morales Spider-Man number 10 right here on my wall, signed, that someone actually sent over to me as an AOK. I dig the character, man. And I think it's cool that there is a modern character that people are actually excited about and that people are willing to invest, if you will. And I'm going to tell you, one of my challenges is to try to get some of those books for the long term for my children, because I think that my children will potentially grow up thinking about Miles Morales and thinking about Peter Parker at the same time, and not just Peter Parker, you know? So, congrats on the Wolverine one. That's cool. Every ASM is a key, man. I'm telling you, brother. I'm telling you. Catching up on season 5 of Flash and digging it. It was a little boring at first. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. The 2 books under Wildcats. Those are 2 DC books, man. 2 DC books under there. I can't remember. That is Phantom Stranger, which was an AOK signed by somebody. And this one over here is Suicide Squad #7 by Jim Lee that was sent over to me by RB3 more than a year ago. So 2 DC books back there. I think this whole side over here is all DC, and we're getting closer and closer to having an all DC wall. I think over here, this is also an AOK right here. This is the Batman Flash right there. That's really cool. That is a book that was sent over to me as well. So shout out to all the subscribers that have hooked me up, man, with some pretty awesome books that have made the wall, because I was lacking. I was lacking back there with the slabs for DC. So shout out to all you guys that have hooked me up. So scrolling down through some of the comments here, seeing what else you guys are talking about. Red Ocean. Miles and Gwen are here to stay. I would agree, man. I think that people are excited about both of those characters. And I think that these characters are going to be ones that will resonate with generations to come. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's actually pretty cool. And I read it and I actually enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed the story, which I think is really, really fantastic. You know, I got the Miles Morales number 8 and 13. Shout out to you for that one, brother. The nothing good and new comic mindset drives me insane. Stay off my lawn. That's the thing, is that this is my opinion. Anybody that says that probably hasn't taken the time to actually read some new stuff, right? They are, I think we always have the mindset that what we experienced, or that what was, you know, history is always better, right? And the truth of the matter is there are a lot of comic books that were made back in the day that are not very good. There's a lot of comics that were made back in the day that are fantastic, and vice versa. There's a lot of stuff that comes out now, it's not very good. And there's a lot of stuff that is out right now that is actually really, really good, you know? And so when someone says there's no new good comics that are out, my question is, when was the last time you read one? When was the last time you read one? Because I can actually recommend several to you that are actually really good. I started reading one today. Shout out to Scott. I will not tell you what the name of it is right now, but there is one that is out that I started reading today. Oh my goodness. It is so good. It is so good. And I won't mention it because I don't own it. I'm reading it digitally. I won't tell you what it is because you guys will drive the price. But once I get my hard copies, I'll tell you all about it. Scrolling down to the comments here. Now Steve's just rubbing it in. Steve, you're just rubbing it in. He says, I have a slab first print and a raw second print for reading of that Ultimate Fallout. Brother, I'm going to tell you right now, you may want to protect that raw second print, because that one is also going up in value, I do believe. This week I found out, what is that from Hydra? This week I found out my daughter, I was having a daughter. Wait a minute. This week I found out I was having a daughter 4 years ago. I bought her the first volume. Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. What is this? I'm trying to save up for one of my grails and can't decide if I want a CGC signature series with Stan Lee. How much more is it for a signature worth? What I would encourage you to do, man, I would encourage you to go over to Go Collect. If you use my code Regie Collects, you can actually save. You can actually get, I think, 1 week or 1 month, I can't remember, free. You can go over there and you can actually find that book that you're thinking about getting, and you can toggle back and forth between a signature series and a regular version. And you can look at the values of the comics, and you can kind of ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth paying the extra money for the signature, right? Is it your grail, the book, or is your grail that book with Stan Lee's signature, right? So you kind of have to ask yourself, what is it that you want? What is your actual grail? And I think if you can answer that question and then reconcile that price differential, then I think you have an answer. I personally I struggle with paying extra money for signatures. I'm gonna be completely honest, but that's me. That's why I don't have a whole lot of signed books in my collection, because I want the book, not necessarily the signature. If I get a signature on the book, it's because in many cases I had an opportunity to meet that creator, and I think that that's a really cool experience. But these are my personal preference. These are my goals for my collection, and that should not necessarily color you. So you have to think about it. Think about it. But what I will say is take the time to make sure that if you spend the money on the signed version or the unsigned version, that you get a book that will actually make you happy. Because at the end of the day, that is what this is about. That's what it's about, is about that. So scrolling down, what is this? Leo says, I heard Miles Morales, or yeah, because he was black and Puerto Rican superhero, so we got something in common. Wait. So you're both superheroes? That is fantastic. That is fantastic. Scrolling down through the comments. B-Boy 3 says, have you thought of making a video showing all of your original art in your collection? That would be cool. So I have done that. I have a couple of videos here on the channel that actually show a lot of the original art that is actually in my collection. I think you have to, if you search for Regie Collects Secret Project, I think that's what I called it. Regie Collects Secret Project on YouTube. You can actually find a video in which I show you, let me see, Regie Collects Secret. It's like a secret art project or something like that. Yeah. It's amazing. I can actually still remember a lot of these titles, which is amazing and also frightening at the same time. But I'll show you this real quick. Let me see if I can get the right screen. So here you go, right here, this video right here, Secret Art Project. This is actually where I take you guys through some of the art that's in my collection. Didn't get a whole lot of views, which is probably why a lot of people didn't know about it, but this was more than a year or almost a year ago when I released this. But it actually shows you, I do believe some of the original art that is in my collection. The collection has continued to grow over time. And I want to say that there's like one other video on the channel that actually looks at some of the art in my collection. And I think with that one, I literally open up the portfolio that I have back there and actually flip page by page and talk about some of the art that is in the collection. So check that out if you get a chance. Scrolling down through the comments here, back in the day mentality, scrolling down. Let me see the couple of comments here. So, I'm not pressing as much because I have other things to work on. So I'm not pressing as much, but my results were consistent. So I'm not certain why they would change. I'm not maybe you're getting at something else there that I'm not fully appreciating. So if I'm not appreciating it, just type it back in for me. But once you learn how to press, things don't suddenly fall off, and so if you remember, there was a stretch there where I submitted about 40 books, and I think about 37 of them actually came back at 9.8s, and then there was another stretch where there were books that were submitted that actually came back at pretty high grades. So I think that the results are, again, pretty consistent. So scrolling down through the comments, seeing what else you guys are talking about, seeing what else you guys are talking about. All right, cool. So maybe we will wrap this thing up and keep it moving. I might actually jump on Twitch a little bit later and do a live stream over there, maybe a little bit later tonight. But for those that are joining a little bit late, we actually spent a little bit of time in this live stream talking about Rob Liefeld in his Robservations podcast that he has actually started earlier this week. Rob's basically going to be getting on and talking about comics and how comics are affecting the current culture of today. And you guys know Rob Liefeld is not short on sharing his opinions, and he's not short or shy about sharing his thoughts. So those podcast episodes should be pretty entertaining. And supposedly it is available on all of the various platforms that are out there. So if you have any interest in hearing what Rob has to say, you definitely want to check that out. And then we also talked a little bit about CBCS's new signings that they're going to be doing. They have a new roster. I think it was like 5 different artists or something like that they're going to be doing signings for. So if you have an interest in getting your books signed by some of these really, really talented, mostly DC artists, a couple of Marvel on there as well, you definitely want to head over to the CBCS website, CBCScomics.com website to check out all of the requirements and costs associated with that. And then the last thing I'll remind you guys of is that this is the book that is available to you to win this coming Sunday. All you have to do is to watch the videos that have been released over the course of the week. And in one of these videos is a phrase. Once you get that phrase, you head over to the community tab, you plug in a couple of pieces of information, including the phrase, and now you are in the running. And then you tune into the Ready, Set, Go preview show, which airs Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time to find out if you are the winner. And we have given away a whole lot of books over the last 67 weeks or whatever it's been. So I definitely want to encourage you guys to go after that, man, because there are some pretty cool giveaways. I just ordered another round of books for the month of June, and I think that there's some really cool stuff coming for you guys as well. All right. So if you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects, or if you want to send me an email, you can do that as well to Regie@RegieCollects.com. And if you're feeling frisky, you may want to head over to my website, RegieCollects.com, because there may be some new merchandise that is going to be appearing in the near future. Take care.